Hi, Stevie. Airtime Gavin here. After reaching the final last year, you need a finish to progress. Will you change the approach to ensure a finish in the fight?
What was that, sorry?
After reaching the final last year, you now need a finish to progress because you're on 0 points. Will you change your approach in the fight to get a finish?
Right. Yeah, last year I had 0 points as well. I knew exactly what I needed last year. So I knew I needed the finish in 12 minutes and 34 seconds, I think it was. So, yeah, obviously it does change it a little bit. You know, it gives you that more of a drive. This year's a little bit different because I don't know exactly what I need. There's a couple of fights after me. The main one is Shane Burgos and Nishikawa, because I could technically, you know, get 4 points or whatever and be going through, and then they could spoil the party. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously giving myself the best chance to qualify is getting a finish. So yeah, I mean, I come out to try and finish every guy I fight anyway. So from the first bell, I'm going to be trying to look for a finish.
Okay, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Patrick.
Hey, Stevie, this is Padman Corey from Combat Sports UK. So in a recent interview, you mentioned potentially retiring after the season. Is that a motivator going into this matchup even more, you know, because I think every athlete wants to retire on top of the game?
Yeah, to be honest, man, like I'm fucking really excited for this fight because, you know, it's like less pressure for me as well because I'm just going out there to enjoy it. You know, it's like, you know, it's like worst case scenario is still a good scenario for me. Worst case scenario is I lose, and it'll be the first time I've ever lost 3 fights in a row, and maybe that will just be. That would be like a message to say maybe it is the right time to hang it up and focus on someone else in my life. So that's although I don't want that, it's still like a happy part. But and then obviously if I win and I don't qualify, that's good because you know, I've just won potentially my last fight. I've beat a good guy and I've been paid a good amount as well. So. And then obviously if I qualify, then there's actually part of the qualifying that's a bit like, oh fuck, I've got to fight again in 6 weeks. But obviously, you know, that is the best scenario.
And the Clay Collar matchup, you know, he's a really, really good boxer. What excites you most about this matchup, and where do you see your advantages?
To be honest, I mean, it's always hard watching a fighter and thinking how it's going to be and stuff, like, because I've watched his boxing. I wouldn't say he's that good a boxer, that great a boxer anyway. In boxing, if you ever want to make it in boxing, you can't even lose. Like, you don't want to be losing 2 to 3 fights. His record was something I can't even remember what it was, but wasn't great for boxing. I mean, I would say it's more he's a volume puncher. That's so I wouldn't say it's his actual skill of the boxing. It's more the fact he throws so much numbers. But his boxing doesn't really faze me. Although I do feel like my grappling is going to be so much better than his. But yeah, I'm confident everywhere.
Right, man. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, man.
Anik.
Stevie, Anik Subramanian, Fightbook MMA. I know you've talked a lot about your career potentially ending soon. What is your favorite moment in the cage, and could you elaborate more on it?
So my favorite time was the first time I ever won in Glasgow when I fought in the UFC. They came to the Hydro. There was 13,000 Scottish fans there. They were all chanting my name, Stevie fucking Ray. And I won by first round knockout. I didn't have the best fight camp then either. I actually had a motorcycle accident 4 weeks before the fight. I couldn't do any grappling for a couple of weeks and stuff. So yeah, it wasn't the best camp, but I went in, won by first round knockout, and I got the bonus of the night as well. So that was, you know, an extra 50 grand, which was good. But now. Beating Pettis kind of up that, getting the finish against Pettis, twisting him because I kind of needed the finish. I managed to get. The only part that was obviously downside to that is the fact I never had the fans there, like the atmosphere. So I've got two. The first one was for the atmosphere, the Scottish fans going crazy, the moment. And then the second one's more for just like what happened. Yeah.
Awesome, Stevie. Excited to see you compete Friday, and best of luck.
Thank you, man.
Joshan.
Hi, Stevie. Jose Montesino from Panda Sports Clubs. How are you?
What's up, man? I'm all good.
Great. So you've been in a need of a knockout, and Clay being one of the most aggressive fighters on the PFL. How are you seeing this fight going? Probably in the first round.
Well, when I look at Clay, he is a good fighter. He's a dangerous fighter. That being said, I don't see him as like, he's not got the one punch power that I would say. I wouldn't say he's a huge hitter. He's not a submission specialist. He's more, like I said, his biggest thing that he's good at is the volume and the pressure of the shots. He throws a lot of shots, a lot of numbers. So to be honest, I'm not really fazed for that. I'm not going to make it a fight where, I'm hoping it's not a fight where at the end they're looking at the scorecards and, you know, there's 300 punches to 50 of mine or whatever. I'm going in there to try and finish him. So whether that's on the ground or on the feet, it'll be his volume punching versus my power punching.
One more question. Being last year in the finals and being in almost in the same position as last year, regular season, how's your mindset? Is that something changed knowing that you surpassed last year's situation?
Yeah, that's it. It's like, that's what I love about the PFL. Like, you know, I lost the first fight, but I've still got a chance to qualify. And look at last year, I had 0 points. I had the top seed. I had the number 1 seed. I needed to finish Anthony Pettis. Yeah, I got it done. And I know I've got the skills to do that. I mean, a lot of your confidence comes from your training. And, you know, I see the results in training. I train with top level guys, top level coaching. I know how good I am. It's just about obviously displaying it on the night. So yeah, Friday night, we'll see.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Jay Christian.
Braveheart Stevie Ray, how are you, mate?
What's up, man? I'm all good.
Nope. Nothing much, chap. It's Jay Christian Gary of Focus Fights Audio. I just wanted to ask you a quick couple questions. First of all, I know some of the hardest of the hardcore have seen you compete in promotions like Cage Warriors and Bama. A lot of people remember you from fighting in the UFC. But what has fighting in these last couple of years in the PFL meant for you, other than trying to get at, as you Brits like to say, at the top of the table?
Well, just my whole experience fighting with the PFL has been amazing. Just all the PFL staff that I've met, you know, it's been great. I never really got a chance to get as close to UFC staff and even the bosses and stuff. Like, you know, I've been able to, you know, chat and speak and get close to Race Effo and Peter and even Don and yeah, some of the like really top people. We've been treated absolutely amazing. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for obviously the PFL giving me the opportunity that they did, and I feel blessed to be a part of the company.
Understood. And one more question. I know that over the course of this whole entire session, you've been contemplating retirement. Obviously, you've been talking about it this entire session so far. But let's just say after 37 fights, that this fight against Clay Collier, regardless of if you win or lose, could be your last fight. what would you hope that people would remember about your career as soon as you put those gloves in the center of the cage, if it does happen without you winning that $1 million at the end?
Yeah, what would I like to be remembered as? So when I retire, probably just that, I always came to fight. I always tried to make it exciting. Always showed a lot of heart, and a lot of people that know my whole story know why I fight. It's the biggest reason I fight is to provide for my family, for my wife and kids. So I'd like people to remember me as a hard worker, doing what needs to be done, and yeah, I've went out there and proved all the doubters wrong. Sometimes I've been the underdog a lot of times in the fight and got the job done. So yeah, I'd like to be remembered for that. But yeah.
I'm sorry if it was a loaded question, man, but still, all I gotta say is they ain't gonna take your pride, but they ain't gonna take your skill. No, they may take your pride, but they ain't gonna take your skill. So I wish you best of skill on Friday night, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I'm excited for it.
No problem.
All right, Steven, last question, please.
Hi, Stevie. How you doing, man?
What's up, buddy? I'm all good. How are you?
Good. Of course, great name as well. Stevie, Steven, best name, right?
That's it, man.
We recently had the airing of the BBC documentary, Our Lives, obviously focused around yourself, your wife, your family. How did that opportunity come about?
Can't actually remember how it came around. I think, to be honest, I can't even remember how it initially came around, but I just remember speaking to a woman, Anne Claire and Christine, about doing a documentary, and there was talks of it. I think they maybe spoke to James as well. They were interested in maybe doing something with the fighters from higher level. So some of the younger fighters that they're still interested in maybe doing. So the prospects, if you like. And because there was at our gym, because we've got a couple of young prospects, and we've got fighters from all different ethnicities and countries and stuff, they were wanting to do that. And then when James, they said, have you got any fighters that are fighting for someone really big? Is there any? And then he was like, well, Stevie Ray's fighting for $1 million in a tournament in November. And they never knew about it. And they were like, oh, that sounds good. And then it basically came from that. Yeah.
So obviously the documentary gave you a chance to relive some things. So how was that for you, getting the chance to relive some of the things they filmed?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. When they were there doing it, it was a fucking bit of pain in the arse. But I remember even before the fight, they were having to come in, do extra media. Natalie was there, some stuff that I wasn't used to before. I'm one of those guys that I like to tunnel vision a little bit. When I'm fighting, all my concentration's on my fighting. Everything else gets ditched to the side. So yeah, you could say it was a little bit of distraction, but the documentary turned out good. I was I was dreading how the final outcome was going to be, because I was crab it a lot of the time that they were filming. I was obviously dieting and whatever else. But yeah, it was a good turnout, and it was good for people to see what really goes on behind the scenes.
And obviously that's a big platform for you as well. So have you noticed anything different in terms of maybe notoriety coming into this fight?
In terms of what, sorry?
In terms of the notoriety of yourself coming into this fight, now you've had that platform.
Well, I think, I mean, it feels the same. I mean, people can see what really goes into the fight camp and how my life is. But yeah, I mean, my training everything else has still just been the same. I focus on the fight, focus on winning, and yeah.
And of course, since I am the last question, give us the hard sell. If someone was on the fence about tuning in tomorrow, what would you say to make them interested in your fight?
Just if anybody's on the fence of watching it, it's probably because they haven't watched much of Clay's fights or my fights. Any of the true MMA fans that have seen my fights and seen his fights should be excited for this fight. We both come and bring it. We've got different styles a little bit, and it's going to be an exciting fight. From the get-go, I'm going to try and knock his head off or something. And I'm sure he's going to try and do the same for me. So make sure you tune in from the start. I'm hoping it's going to be over quick, but it could end up a 15-minute war.